Welcome. In the last lesson, I showed you how we can set up a MariaDB repository, and I have requested you to set up the same on node 2 and 3 that will be part of our MariaDB cluster. I went ahead and did the same on node 2 and node 3, and now let's go ahead and install the MariaDB and Galera components on all these three nodes. I will install on node 1 and I will request you to please repeat the same on node 2 and node 3 as the steps are exactly the same. And for the installation on node 1, I will just follow this doc number 8 on from our course repository. Okay, so let me go ahead and copy the very first path, and you will notice that I am only installing on node 1 MariaDB server. Why? Because if you will notice that, if you will see that it says that as part of this installation of MariaDB server as a dependency, MariaDB client common shared in even the Galera 4 will be installed as part of this from the MariaDB repository. Okay, and the version for the MariaDB server will be 10.11. okay, and for the Galera 4 will be 26.4.20. as long as it says -4, this is the latest one with this one. Okay, so just installing this, it will actually bring all the dependent packages that we need to run a successfully a MariaDB Galera cluster. And I would say yes, even though the download size was just a 38, but the installation is more than 200-300 of the megabytes. So let me go ahead and click yes, and it will go through and it will try to install all the components that are needed to run a MariaDB server. This is the beauty to installation from a repository. So like I mentioned here, even if you try to say yum install MariaDB client, it should have already installed as part of the MariaDB server. Similar way, we can do skip this one. I just added there because these are the components that we need. But in the MariaDB case, if you will just install the server, these will be installed automatically as part of this, and we can verify once this installation is completed. I'm saying that go ahead and query all the packages that you have installed and only pull packages with the names MariaDB, and then once you pull that, also go ahead and query all the packages and find all the packages that name start with Galera. Okay, so once this is done, let me go ahead and run this query, and you can see that from the very first one we have not only server but we have a client and common files also, and then as part of the second one we already have Galera 4 installed. Okay, so now the main thing we need to look at this is that we need to look further deep into inside of this one, that what kind of files and components it brought are installed on our system. And the very first one that we really want to pay attention is the Galera replication plugin and the library path that we will use this whenever we will configure our MariaDB Galera cluster. And for that this is the path, this is the library lib galera smm shared memory.so. This is the path you want to note. Anyone I mentioned here that note down the path of Galera replication plugin library. Mean this one, this will be different on different operating system. Like if you are installing or setting up MariaDB cluster on Ubuntu, this path will be different. It might be user lib. Okay, it will not be user lib 64, but in the Red Hat Enterprise Linux based system you will see the path is this one. You please write it down so that whenever we will create a configuration file for the Galera MariaDB cluster, we will add this line. All right, so I have done this one. Now you go ahead and please take care of exactly the same in node 2 and node 3, and I want to save time on the recording of this video. So after having this installation done on node 1, you repeat this on node 2 and 3, and to further to start up the MySQL and configure the Galera cluster. I will see you in the next lesson.